Hari Om. Let's continue to look deeper into the pranayama, knowledge science of yoga, from the book of Pranayama of Bihar School. Today we look deeper into the actual practice of pranayama, and we will kind of look through the theory and understanding behind the retention of the breath, kumbhakas, and how different pranayamas affect us physically and on other spiritual levels. So, importance of kumbhakas, chapter 11. The process of respiration has three components: Pooraka, inspiration when we inhale; rechaka, expiration when we're exhaling; and kumbhaka, it's retention, to where we hold the breath. In the classic yogic texts, it says that kumbhaka is pranayama and pranayama is kumbhaka, not Pooraka or rechaka, which are natural process. So they don't consider in classical yoga that inhaling and exhaling is actually pranayama itself. However, one must remember that inhalation, exhalation are part of retention. In order to retain the breath, it is necessary to inhale as well as exhale. Therefore, the three components of the breath are also the three parts of pranayama. Inhalation is described as an active or positive breath. Exhalation is the passive or negative breath. And kumbhaka represents the transcendence of duality. Inhalation is the active process of respiration and required muscular effort to draw air into the lungs. Normal exhalation is passive and does not require muscular effort. Rather, the diaphragm and ribcage recoil back into their original places. And that's why so it's easier to control kind of your exhale, make it deeper and longer, and then control inhale. And people find troubles when they get nervous or have a disease or asthmatic problem or panic attack, it's with inhaling. In pranayama, rechaka, it's when we exhaling, is often a slow and controlled process. Generally, it is either the same length or twice the length of Pooraka, of inhale. The main advantage of conscious exhalation is that it develops conscious control over the relaxation response as well. Like we fully coming back to normal state, and you find when you have a longer exhale, sometimes I guide you through having longer, twice longer exhale and inhale. You straight away getting into this internalizing state of relaxation. Practice towards the end of the class. Slow rechaka is performed spontaneously. For example, when one moans or groans in pain. For this, remove pain from the pain center in the brain. Conscious effort required for slow release of the breath needs the help of the cerebral cortex of the brain. The cerebral cortex sends inhibitory impulses to the respiratory center in the midbrain. These inhibitory impulses from the cortex overflow into the adjoining area of the hypothalamus, concerned with emotions, and quieten this area. Hence the soothing effect of slow expiration. Let's explain you like on a physical level, anatomy level, how it's happening. The Amritananda Upanishad gives a poetic description of the twin process of Pooraka and rechaka, and it's translated as rising up the vayu from the akasha region in the heart and making the body void of vayu and empty, and uniting the soul to the state of void is called rechaka. Rechaka, it's the exhale. That is called Pooraka when one takes in vayu, as a man will take water into his mouth through the lotus stalk. Here it gives you this descriptions of what is the breath itself, and we can see the pranayama, and you see the main secret of the pranayama, and the gurus, teachers, yogis practicing and mastering it is through the retention of the breath at the end. But it's easier to start it with just controlling your exhale, then you can have more control over the inhale, and then with time you can work on your kumbhaka, or retention of the breath. And you can retain the breath on inhale or exhale, which is much harder, the second one. And your teacher will guide you if you have particular problems, disease or nervous system or psychological problem, where to start, which pranayama will be better for you. We're going to look at some pranayamas now as well, classifications of pranayama according to that, and how we practice in yoga. And if you looked in yoga classes, we kind of have general pranayamas. Ujjayi, everybody practice, yogic breath, maybe. Some other Nadishodhana, from breathing one nostril in order with another, and holding the breath in, breath out. So these all variations. but there's all other sorts of pranayamas, which we're going to look at. So classification of pranayamas. The various pranayamas are obtained by modulating the process of Pooraka, inhale, rechaka, exhale, and Kumbhaka, hold the breath, in or out. The main classical pranayamas are 9, so we consider 9 classical pranayamas. Nadi Shodhana is the one when you inhale one side to the other. Bhastrika is when you inhale intensively and exhale intensively using diaphragm, like that. We practice it a lot. Kapalabhati, also Shatkarma. Kapalabhati, also the cleansing technique, which we do in the morning. Shatkarma is when you inhale normally and you exhale, diaphragm sneezing out the air, like that. Yeah. Shitali, Shitkari, this is one related to your mouth when you're kind of cooling. Brahmari is when we're closing the ears and we're humming. Ujjayi, constricting the throat. Murcha, Surya Beda, and Chandra Beda, more sophisticated pranayamas you can learn in the classes. Some of these pranayamas increase heat and some cool the body down. That's just what we say, for example, Bhastrika. Some pranayamas stimulate, while others harmonize and relax the nervous system. Nadi Shodhana is balancing, Bhastrika and Kapalabhati activating, and Brahmari and Ujjayi are relaxing. Shitali, Shitkari, and Chandra Beda decreases the inner body temperature. Surya Beda and Murcha increases the inner body temperature. So you see, it's very important in pranayamas and for your teacher, guru, yogi, understand to all this knowledge of these pranayamas, who can practice them, what time of the day, after which practices. There's some practices that doesn't go together in order, in particular order, so you have to then practice them in a specific way. All pranayamas techniques alter the normal breathing rate, but some more than others. Bhastrika and Kapalabhati speed up inhalation and exhalation. They may be considered the methods of hyperventilation, where prolonged rapid breathing is practiced. Similarly, Brahmari, Ujjayi, Shitali, Shitkari may be regarded as methods of hyperventilation as well, could be, where reduced or slow breathing. Other less than 5 breaths per minute is practiced. Often less than 5 breaths per minute is practiced. And I consider having 5 breaths per minute. It's kind of like average for a normal person. The ones who doesn't do practices, the moment you start practicing yoga and pranayamas in particular, you can achieve 2 breaths per minute or even less. So inhale, exhale, holding the breaths. And if you go into sophisticated classes, might be even more longer breaths. The hyperventilating techniques come under the classification of vitalizing pranayamas. The rapid and deep breathing increases the alveolar ventilation and stimulates the blood flow in the top of the lungs in those areas where blood circulation is sluggish and even dormant. And I told you before, we only use 18%, 18% of the lungs capacity. The rest of it's stagnant. Alveolus doesn't get engaged, and the disease is coming from there because this air in the bottom, for example, gets stagnant. That's why we do a lot of inversions. That's why when you go into the nature, you go for a run, you feel much more, you feel a little bit more tired and kind of high in the oxygen, but you feel happier and healthier after that. Sometimes many people can have depressions, asthma develop from bad posture and not access to those dormant areas of your lungs. And as a result, this not very nice bacteria develops, and just in general, you get less oxygen, remove less toxins from your body through respiration, and you start feeling down, and it might cause disease after all. Yeah, so the yoga is amazing. Pranayama is amazing for that. Just particularly that reason, it's already the reason to practice yoga. So these pranayamas have a stimulating effect on the whole body due to the rapid muscular movement and increases metabolic rate induces in all parts of the body. These techniques experience the lungs and abdomen and stimulates the nervous system to balance and strengthen itself. They also have a purifying and heating effect on the body and mind. And that's exactly what I'm saying. And we're always trying to balance out. So if you're overcooling, you want some heating techniques. And it's not even temperature-wise cooling. It could be energetically cooling. When you're opposite to a heat person, too much anger, too much excitement, or you easy to burn into the aggression or something. When you're too over extrovert, the cooling techniques will balance you out. When it's more switching off mind process and this outwards, we switch into inwards. But some people too inwards, inside, and this some depressions come from that when they shut down, the person shut down. And then I will give them some practice that will open them up more to the world. So everything all the time in the yoga practice, everything we're trying to balance out. So we don't want too much of this or that. Too happy is not as good as too sad. So you want to be somewhere in the middle, because otherwise you're going to be fluctuating from one side to the other, and you will never be happy. And then what many people, modern people experience, they, especially social media doesn't help you. You see people having too active lifestyle and you don't, and you feel sad. And then opposite, you see somebody have a very quiet countryside lifestyle, and you feel, oh, one day with my life too much excitement, and you constantly feel this fluctuation. And it's also somebody else's desires put in you because of economical reason, because everything through social media, television, everywhere, they're trying you to encourage you to buy something, service, product, travel, lifestyle. But do you really need it right now in your life? These things. And we get constantly sad that we cannot afford what we think we do want, or we should travel. That's the leisure. And when you see people traveling on social media, often they just show one particular point of view. You don't know what's happened 10 days or 5 days or whole day before that and after, how they feel that day. Maybe these people even more sad and depressed than you are, and maybe they shouldn't go to this trip. But it all appears like amazing and attractive for us, and we feel, oh, I'm missing out. My life is not good enough for it, and I'm not good enough. So that's a very dangerous down aspect of social media, when it's a very amazing place to be. And I do use it, social media too, and get some ideas, encouragement, and of course to promote my yoga for reasons to encourage people to look into themselves in this life. And that's why I'm making these videos. So last couple paragraphs, hyperventilating techniques are slow and subtle, stretching the capacity of respiration at the other end of the spectrum. They are generally tranquilizing pranayamas, and their effect is more or less opposite of hyperventilation. These techniques reduce the metabolic rate as well as the frequency of brain waves, leading to a relaxed meditative state. Thus, one experiences a greater sense of control over the nervous system. Carbon dioxide levels may be slightly increased by this practice, although the oxygen level remains normal. Yeah, so then essentially all these pranayamas, kind of what they're doing, directly affecting our brain by this. Well, that's how we can see it reported through our physical tools, techniques existed in the modern, medical science or just research science. It's this wavelengths of your brain, and they correlated with different type of sleep, different type of activity, and they correlated to disease coming from particular, prevailing wavelengths and so on. So the breath is directly the one that changes. But I would say this is not the reason or the main effect of it. It will be like a bypass, like a general field, happier, calmer, and so on. But there's a more deeper, and we talked about this with this prana and balancing energies in the body, which we don't, or science doesn't think it exists, or your prana aura body. They kind of say, yeah, it exists, but in some kind of spiritual voodoo world. But it does exist, even it's reflected in this physical world. And if you have special, you trained, you can actually see the prana energy field, the colors and this kind of stuff. Some people do, and some people think that they bluffing, and maybe they do, but they might be thinking that they like something wrong with them. They psycho, they see things, they hear voices, yeah. But in reality, it does exist. And we do know that some equipment can register the aura, and I said about this in the beginning. So don't discard these things. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And the last paragraph, the consciousness altering of the rate of the inhalation and exhalation brings about an improved control of all the above processes. There is a more conscious and efficient absorption of oxygen and elimination of carbon dioxide, as well as an improved mental and emotional states. The control of Pooraka and rechaka is preliminary stages in pranayama, designed to improve overall health and vitality and to prepare the practitioner for later stages, basically for your meditation, when often you might even lose any breath and stay without breathing in, breathing out for several minutes. And you don't even notice this because you're in a deep state samadhi. Good health, efficient respiratory function, and increased vitality are foundation for the more advanced practices of pranayama, which involved Kumbhaka. And whatever we do, this simple pranayama, especially bhastrika and ventilation once, sometimes we do in the beginning of the class, through the class, or in the beginning of your end part of the pranayama and meditations section, to prepare for kumbhakas. They kind of flow more naturally and slower. And I noticed after whatever half an hour yoga practice asanas, you're already switching for controlling your breath, because we do use the breath in the practice. Surya Namaskara, it's an amazing one. When you're inhaling one asana, exhaling other, it's already control of your breath. Inhale, exhale at least. Towards the end, we're kind of holding longer breath. And then when we're going into the pranayama part, we're already body relaxed. You can sit upright, nothing blocking you anywhere. You don't have to worry, oh, my knees or my hips, or because you've done your asana part. Through the asanas, you kind of unblocked main knots created through the last day, last week, last life. And then you start getting into the breathing, and the energies, the channels of the energy nadis become more activated. Like there's, like imagine your highway and you have a car crash and there's a blockage. Nobody can go that direction or that direction. So what we're doing in yoga and pranayama, we cleaning up those roads and the flow goes in all directions, and you can start having easier practices. And kumbhakas become longer and more natural and more comfortable. And you will notice it with practice of yoga. So just in the middle of the day, stop yourself and start doing pranayama, or when you're in a calm state of mind, early morning, do your yoga 1 hour practice, asanas, and then go into the pranayama, and you'll have 10 times different effect of it. And eventually, everything we do in yoga, I repeat myself again and again, it's to prepare us for this deeper meditation practice, which 10 times more have effect on you, your life, and changing life around you. So please practice yoga, and I'll see you later. Hari Om.